see an economy that grows by persecuting those at the bottom while letting those people at the top off. What we're seeing in our society today is a race to the bottom, an ideological race to the bottom. And what your dispute proves is that when they talk about, because we've had Esther McVey this week talking about how the economy is now bearing fruit and how working people are seeing the benefits of austerity. What she's talking about is allegedly a 0.1% increase in pay for workers. What she's talking about is the fact that suddenly, for the first time in 4 years, inflation has been outstripped by 0.1% of pay for ordinary working people. This is a minister that serves in the government where the ministers are enjoying a 9.4% pay increase. That's not justice, that's not fair, and that's not right. And the reality of what's happening in our country today is what you're suffering and what you're about to go through, if this isn't a successful outcome, is although your headline figure might say your wages haven't been cut, your pay has been cut, and it will be cut. And that's why it's important that you win. That's why it's important that you win this fight. And that's why it's important that the people of Doncaster and all around this country understand what this fight's about. This fight is about an attack on your terms and conditions. This fight is an historic fight, and the people who are taking part in it are going to remain a historic position in the Labour movement for a long, long time. And let me tell you why. Because while all this has been going on, the people of Doncaster, the care workers of Doncaster, have stood up and said it's not going to be allowed to happen. We're not going to just stand idly by. We're going to take action. We're going to go on strike. We're going to be prepared to take that ultimate sacrifice that enables us to fight back. Why on earth should working people have to sacrifice their pay and their terms and conditions for the pay so profiteers can make a profit out of their hard work? Care workers are the backbone of our society. Care workers should be able to go to work and do the job that we expect them to be able to do. Not have to worry about whether they can pay the rent, pay the mortgage. And let me tell you about another reason why they shouldn't. You shouldn't have to do it. You shouldn't have to do it because you're dedicated. And you are what made our country a civilised country. You put our society together. You're the backbone of our community. And like you're going to make history by being victorious in this. And let me tell you, when they tell you can't win, when they say to you, all you're going to do is lose pay, when they say there's no chance of you getting anything out of this fight, you just take this from me. Because we saw it down the road in Wigan. They told our members, they said to our members, they said, let me tell you, we're going to change the pay for people who are going to come on your side, but it won't affect you. And our members said, I'm awful sorry, we don't believe that people's wages should have to be cut. We don't believe that we should sit back and allow people in our community to have to sacrifice their future so we can remain on the same terms and conditions where theirs are cut. So we ain't going to allow it. So they said, we ain't going to accept what this company's proposing. So the company said, well, you're going to have to cut your terms and conditions. Otherwise, you're going to be faced with redundancy. Our members said, well, okay, what we'll do is we'll cut our terms and conditions and we'll save our members' jobs. We'll save the people we work next to's jobs because we don't want our mates to go down the road. And after sacrificing those terms and conditions, the company then said, well, actually, we're still going to make redundancies. Then after making those redundancies, they marched in zero-hour contract workers and agency workers. So that's what you get when you do a deal with an employer. You get sold out by the employer. So never give in and never surrender to them. But I'll tell you what our members did. I'll tell you what they did. They said, you know what? We're not going to accept zero-hour contract workers. We're not going to accept agency workers. What we're going to do is we're going to go on strike. And the company said, if you go on strike, we'll shut you down. And our members said, well, do your worst. Because there's no second-class worker in Wigan. We're not having second-class workers. No second-class workers at Ovis Wigan. So at the end of the first week, where there was 201 workers, including 24 strikers, there was 201 pickets, And at the end of the first week, they won that first week by making sure those 24-hour contract workers, those 0-hour contract workers were now full-time employees. Because that's what happens when you take action. And that's what happens when you stand together. And let me tell you about the second week, when they were offering our members £1,000 each to cross the picket line. And our members said, stick your £1,000, we're staying on the gates because we're not accepting second-class workers here. And on the second week, they won that one too, because the club capitulated. So when they tell you you can't win, when they say to you, this is a pointless fight, you just remember this. The bosses always say that, but when you stand together, you fight together, you will win together. Solidarity.